Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Better Call Saul. Last time on Better Call Saul, we had Click. Let me see if I can remember all what happened. It has been a week and a half for me, like I said last episode. But obviously it's only been a week for you guys. So, let me see what I can remember. I'm trying to think of what Mike was doing last episode. Did he talk to Nacho? No, that was the episode before. Oh, that's right. Okay, so Mike got the rifle, and he was going to basically assassinate Hector, but then he was stopped. He was stopped by someone mysterious. Someone went over, basically, and sounded his car horn to get his attention, only he heard it. And he went over, and there was just a simple note that said, "Don't," which was pretty cool. So he did not shoot Hector Salamanca. Jimmy was dealing with the fallouts of sabotage. What all was he doing specifically? I'm trying to remember before. Oh, that's right. So Chuck went to the hospital, and then they were dealing with that. He had to undergo a lot of tests, which weren't good, but Jimmy thought, yes, it is good for him to get those tests, even if they involve electricity. And it was temporary guardianship, and eventually he took Chuck home after Ernie vouched for him that he called Jimmy to show up at the copier, the Xerox place. So yeah, and Chuck decided to counterattack Jimmy's sabotage by basically making it look like he was crazy. He was going to retire from HHM, completely pull out, and put all this Nylar up on the walls and everything. And Jimmy said, "No, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't retire. You're a great lawyer." And he admitted to the sabotage, which Chuck got completely on record. Because he had a tape recorder. So yeah, Chuck has damning evidence. He has a confession on record, which is, I'm going to say that's going to be pretty bad for Jimmy. But we'll have to see how that all plays out. Something else I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention at the end of last episode. I remembered Season 2, Episode 1. And I was kind of indifferent to it because I was sort of sitting here like, okay, well, this kind of repeats a lot of stuff from the Season 1 finale, okay, I'm curious what the point of this episode is going to be. And suddenly I have realized it since then that that episode was not really about Jimmy and how, he's doing the slips and stuff like that. That was important to start off Kim's story arc for Season 2. And you don't really realize that until, you start going through more of the episodes in Season 2. So yeah, whereas at first I watched that episode, I was like, okay, well, you're just kind of repeating stuff. It's not bad, but you're just kind of repeating stuff with Jimmy here, resulting in him going to Davis and Maine. But the more important thing that you only realize in hindsight is how much that, how that basically starts on a character arc for Kim. So I just wanted to throw that in there because I completely forgot to mention it last episode. Anyway, it is the beginning of Season 3, and like always, I offered the first episode of the season full length for free. So if you want to watch my full unedited reaction without show footage, because I cannot stress enough that I cannot give you the show, that is illegal. So sync up your copy of this episode of Better Call Saul. It's on Netflix, it's on shiftier websites, but you didn't hear that from me. There are plenty of ways to watch Better Call Saul. So what you gotta do, sync up your copy of this episode of Better Call Saul to my footage. It's pretty simple to do. You press play on my video, there's a little count in, you press play on Better Call Saul, they line up pretty damn well. You do that, you'll hopefully have a good time. When you're done with that, I do highly encourage you to come back to this YouTube video and watch the discussion, because that is always an important part of these reactions, is the discussion. But yeah, you can do that. You can also sign up for full length, full time over at my Patreon page just for $5 a month. And yeah, you also don't have to do that if you don't want to. You also don't have to go to the full length reaction if you don't want to do that either. If you just want to watch the unedited, or not, the edited reaction that will take 10-15 minutes at the most here in the video. Just stick around a couple seconds and that will start up. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and jump right into this episode, Season 3, Episode 1 of Better Call Saul. Here we go. Are we back to Gene? I almost forgot we start every season with Saul in the future. Well, he's not Saul, he's not Jimmy, he's Gene. I'm gonna lay right down here in the grass. You know, I also wonder how much time passes between each of these scenes, you know? Could be months, it could be a year, could just be the next day. Add this to the mixtape. Uh-oh. A thief.
Alright, let's go.
Back in the day, he'd represent a guy like that.
Say nothing, you understand? Get a lawyer!
Oh! Say nothing, get a lawyer.
Get a lawyer.
Oh, he can't help himself. Wow, I love it's an itch. He can't help himself but try to be a lawyer. He used to be somebody, you know? Whoa! What happened? Man, we're not gonna know until next season. That's such a tease. And that shit's locked away.
Gently, gently, left and right. Left, right.
I get it. Wax on, wax off.
This is gonna take forever.
Mr. Miyagi.
Nah.
Karate Kid. Seriously?
He hasn't seen the Karate Kid? Well, get him the novelization.
Harry Thurston Peck.
Yeah. Mabel goes into the mountain and she meets the king of the brownies and he gives her some kind of super delicious jelly.
She was reading that to her school kids the year the Titanic went down.
Damn. And Mom read it to me.
I read it to you. You don't remember?
Yeah. I do now that you say it, yeah. What was I, like 5 or 6?
Don't think I'll ever forget what happened here today. And you will pay.
Want to talk about it?
Depends. It may or may not involve that thing you said you never ever wanted to discuss.
Okay, then thanks. I gotta get back to it.
Nah.
How about we call it a day? I'll buy you some dinner.
You're kidding, right? You realize how far behind I am? Not to mention now, I've got 8 entire wills to finish up.
What are you
Yeah,
talking
well,
about?
not to mention now you've got to finish up those ducks.
For 10 minutes today, Chuck didn't hate me.
Are you sure about that?
I forgot what that felt like.
You do realize you just confessed to a felony?
Oh, shit.
Yes. But you feel better, right? Besides, it's your word against mine.
Oh, he's pissed. Look at him.
Chuck, this tape, I'm not sure exactly what it accomplishes. Look, you know evidentiary rules better than I do, but a secretly recorded tape with a problematic chain of evidence, you're going to have a hell of a time getting that admitted.
I agree.
And if you somehow put it in front of a jury, Jimmy'd call a dozen audio experts, say that voice isn't his, say that the tape had been edited.
He would indeed.
Are you thinking about playing this for Kevin Wachtel at Mesa Verde? Chuck, if that tape is useless in a court of law and no help in the court of public opinion, what's the point?
What is the
Because
point?
I can't think of a single use for it.
We talked about this last episode.
I can.
Oh, God. Oh! Back over to Mike. He's looking for shit on the car. Make sure he's not tapped. Storm coming in. That was a southwest storm if I've ever seen one. Oh, is this old Joe's? I don't think he's gonna find anything. Boy, he's taking that car apart.
You sell a gas cap for an 87 Caprice wagon?
Should. GM cap should be the blue on the bottom there.
Oh, like it's in there? What is it? Come on, man, what is it? So we got a message in the cap. Or a message in his, too?
Roses, petunias, orchids. They don't smell, you know.
Well.
And baby's breath and bachelor buttons.
Okay.
Lilies of the valley.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Oh god, not lilies of the valley.
Now I've got something to look forward to.
Those things are dangerous.
Bye. Thank you for waiting so patiently. Who do we have next?
That'd be me.
What? Oh.
Hello. It's so good to see you again.
Is that
I
the...
escorted you and your clients onto my
Oh, it's the guy from the Air
base.
Force.
Treated you with hospitality and respect.
If we failed to cross a T or dot an I sincerely apologize for any misunderstanding.
No, it's not a
Step back!
misunderstanding.
Big picture this, okay? What damage was done? Hey, who was hurt, huh? What was damaged? The base is still there, right? The B-52 is, I presume, still...
B-29.
Huh?
B-29. Fifi's a B-29.
Alright.
I don't...
Oh, this is all just one big joke.
Jim... Jimmy's always asking for forgiveness.
No, I don't. You lied to me. You lied to my face, and I can't let you get away with it.
I think we're just gonna have to agree to
I mean,
disagree. So,
what-
can I get you that
what's he
coffee
gonna
to
do?
go, or...
You're gonna take that ad off the air. And if you play that ad one more time, I'm gonna go to the judge advocate, and we will take you down.
Make me.
Oh, shit.
Yeah? Make you?
Yeah, let's do this. You bring your commander down here, and I'll explain to him how you let us on the base. Red carpet treatment.
No, but because you lied your way in.
Not how I remember it. And I've got witnesses to back me up. Do you like being an Air Force captain, huh?
Oh,
You think the
shit.
United States wants
Go
to bring
against
action
him.
An old man in a...
Because you're an ambulance chasing piece of shit. Because you're all the same. You're the same as all.
Always on a high horse. Always trying to make me feel like I'm...
Guys like you. You think you're so damn smart. And you think you don't have to play straight with anybody. The wheel is gonna turn. It always does. A lawyer you can trust my ass.
Thank you for your service.
Everything's gonna come back to bite him in the ass. Leave it there. Leave it there, see if you get any messages.
3:30 in the morning? Seriously?
Oh, the vet.
You get me that?
It's a real thing?
Yeah.
And yeah, I know someone who can get it.
How much?
Look like Radio Shack. It's gonna cost you
Kinda.
whatever it cost me, plus my end. Hey, how's the pup? Doing okay?
Yeah.
She's not being left alone all day, is she?
She's got plenty of company.
Good.
He's a legit
It's gonna
vet.
take me
Oh, Mesa Verde. Oh, that's a boot. I thought those were giant horse testicles.
Well, yeah, you should have heard how that arrogant jerk spoke to me at the hearing, right there in front of Kevin. He accuses me of muddying the waters.
No.
Muddying the waters. I mean, he's the one who can't even get the address right.
Yeah, that's... Wow.
Friends over at HHM, and they sure talk a good game, but come on. Guys like that, when crunch time comes, it's always someone else's fault.
Well, that's true. I mean, it is someone else's fault, but...
Ugh, thank you for cleaning up that mess McGill left behind.
Actually, would you mind if I messenger that over tomorrow morning? First thing, I'd like to take one last look before we submit. Just double check a few things.
Sure. So
Quadruple check the address.
Absolutely.
Man, look at that shit. That old-ass silver border. Old-ass Microsoft Word. Oh, they're getting rid of the rainbow.
How's it coming in there?
But you could taste the rainbow.
Don't mean to rush you.
No, it's okay.
She's making sure everything is there.
I'm done.
She doesn't want to... Even though she knows that Jimmy did it, she wants to be cautious.
You ready to hit it?
Sorry, I just need to check one thing.
Now she's paranoid.
Tops.
Ernie? Yeah. Dude, he has a spoiler on his car. Hell yeah.
You sure it's okay?
It's okay.
What is it? Yeah, I want it to just be a brownie.
Yep.
Oh, it's a battery, isn't it? Oh, he has to change the batteries.
Thought I could do this myself. Would you mind changing the batteries?
Sure thing, Mr. McGill.
Thanks.
Ernie, don't ask questions. Please, for the love of God, don't ask questions.
Changed 1261 to 1216. It was me.
Turn that off! Turn it off!
It all went...
Turn it off! You know about confidentiality, right?
Mm-hmm.
As employees of Hamlin McGill, you and I are both bound by the strictures of client confidentiality. By law. Both of us. By law.
What client are we talking
You understand
about,
what I'm saying?
So I'm not supposed to tell anyone?
That's right.
Please go tell Jimmy.
No matter who. Could be terrible consequences. Life-changing consequences.
Still want to know what he's going to use the tape for.
We don't want you to get into trouble. Enough said.
I guess I'll go finish putting away the groceries. Okay?
Thank you, Ernesto.
Poor Ernie. What the fuck is this thing? Oh, is it a tracker of some kind? Oh, what a great shot. It's the same thing. And back in it goes. And the night passes with nothing. Oh. Now there's someone. So now I assume he has a tracker as opposed to whoever's doing this. Yep. He knows where it's going now. Alright. So to whoever's tracking him, it'll just look like he's still there, but now he can follow. No, don't just end here, please. Oh, it's gonna cut here. I can feel it. Oh. Alrighty. Ugh, excuse me. Oh. Alrighty. That's the end of episode 1 of season 3. Oh, man. I just... You just want to get to it, man. You want to get to it. What's Chuck going to do with the tape? Is Ernie going to tell Jimmy? Who's tracking Mike? And who's Mike going to find? Oh, I'm like 95% positive I know who's going for Mike, you know? And not that someone's going after him, but I think I know who's stringing him along. I think it's Gus Fring. I think it's Gustavo Fring. But I just want to get to it, man. I want to see that man again. Oh. God, this show is so friggin' good, you know? So good. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the notes. The first thing, let's talk about Gene. Gene in the future, beyond Breaking Bad. I love just how... it's basically just like how defeated he is in the future. I almost don't know what to call him in the future, because I'm so used to calling him Jimmy now. But as we saw at the beginning of last season, when he etched on the wall SG was here, because he used to be Saul Goodman. So, do you call him in the future? What do you say? Do you say Jimmy or do you say Saul? Or Gene? That's the other one there. But I love, it is honestly, it's the utter defeat, and it's the defeat and the fall of Jimmy McGill and Saul Goodman, you know? The fact that, yeah, he's not a lawyer anymore. Now, I will be very curious, because again, you know, one of the big things of this show, especially now, you know, once we saw the commercial last episode, is what actually, what's the nail, basically? What's the straw that breaks him and forces him to become Saul Goodman, you know? He stays in the same town, but he sees none of the same people. Presumably, after whatever happens here, you get to the events of Breaking Bad, he never sees Howard Hamlin, or Kim, or Chuck, or Ernie. He's certainly not seeing Omar. Don't think I've forgotten about Omar. I hope that man went off and had a good career. But Omar's in a better place than Ernie. But something forces him to become Saul Goodman. But then he's Saul Goodman. And now, in the future, we just see just how far he's fallen, you know? Because while he became someone. I used to be somebody. He used to be somebody. Until he met Heisenberg. And just to see him like this, it's kind of terrible. You know what? It's kind of like what Marco said in the one flashback we had. I rewatched some of that recently, the season 1 finale, and oh god, I forgot the name of it, but it was whoever it was like it's like watching him give up the trumpet, you know? And Jimmy's like, what the hell does that even mean? And they're talking about Slip and Jimmy. But honestly, you can say that about Gene in the present day, you know? And I absolutely love that he cannot help himself. He can't help himself. And he gets up and loudly says, don't say anything, get a lawyer, you know? Like it's an itch, you know? it's something in his very core that came out for a second, you know? Get a lawyer. Don't say anything, get a lawyer. You know? Because that's who he was a lawyer. He used to be somebody, you know? And it's interesting because it's not just that moment, but then he goes back to the Cinnabon, and you know, we don't know how far into the future this is, you know? Because at this point, he is manager. It's not just that he works here. So he's been there for a long time, and he manages this place. So he's been there. He's been Gene for so long. And when he goes back to that, after that brief moment where Saul Goodman was allowed to come back into his life, and he passed out. He literally passed out from having to go back to being Gene, you know? And the thing is, we're not going to see what happens next. That's the craziest thing, that it's going to be 10 weeks for us here on the reactions before we find out what happens next with Gene, you know? Before the start of season 4. All right. Back over. We'll kind of group some of these together. Let's talk Mike first. Again, 95. I might bump that up to 97. 97% positive that it is Gus Fring. You know? I'm that positive that it's Gus Fring. But interesting stuff. I like, you know, him taking that car apart, basically trying to find anything, and then finding the tracker, basically, which is interesting. And it's very different from the tracker we see in Breaking Bad, which I kind of like. So he found the tracker that was in the fuel cap, and then he basically got the same thing from the vet, and then he got the same thing, presumably swapped them out, and that's why. So he left it when he left the booth, and then to them it didn't move, basically. Comes back, gets it after he talks to the guy, and it's exactly the same thing, I think, as Gus, when Hank had Walt put the tracker on Gus. That, yeah, he's making sure that he doesn't go anywhere that would look out of the ordinary, you know? Make it look like he hasn't noticed it at all. But he got that, and then they swapped it out. And now he's able to follow them, which is great. So yeah, that was really, really cool. I want to get to it. I want to get to it, man. I so want to get to it. Maybe next episode, who knows. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, and I did also like that moment with the vet where he actually did talk about the dog. It was like, oh, you know, it's not being left alone. It's like, no, it's got plenty of company. It's like, oh, it's good. It's like, even though he's, you know, kind of irritated that he had to get up at 3 a.m. to do this, like, I like that he's still concerned about the dog. Like, oh, he is a legitimate vet, you know? So, okay. And now, Jimmy. Jimmy tried to have a normal moment with Chuck, but no. Yeah, and it makes sense that Chuck would say, you know, I'm not going to forget this, and you will pay, you know? And there was the Adventures of Mabel, which is what this name is titled after. I don't know the Adventures of Mabel, so if there's anything specifically relating to this episode, it's a bit lost on me, I will admit. If there's something I'm missing, you can fill me in the comments. But that was interesting, and yeah, he's going to pay. He's going to pay. And starting off the bat, he's already played the tape for Howard, which is crazy. He's already made the tape. He's already played the tape for Howard. And man, just to see the look on Howard's face, that actor is really, really good, because, we always joke about how robotic he is, but, he's robotic. He's more, business and stuff. He's sort of almost an archetypal lawyer, in this show, which is interesting. But I like the subtleties of Howard, I think that works really well. I think he pulls that off very well. And just when he hears that tape, just the look on his face, it's almost deadpan, but you can almost see it shake a little bit because of how angry he is, But we brought this up last episode, where it's like, okay, well, what could this, how could this play? We discussed that. How would this play in court? It's like, well, you have this, it is a confession, but it was a secret tape, and stuff like that. It was a secret tape. They even bring up here that, Jimmy will bring in a dozen audio experts and say that's not him. It's, it's been, falsified, yada, yada, yada. And, it's like, well, there's no point in playing this to Mesa Verde. That ship has sailed and stuff. So I like all of that. And also just the fact that there's no real concrete evidence to support this. Like, yeah, there's the change of numbers, but at the same time, it's like, well, that's not the strongest evidence. And I like that Howard brings that up. It's like, look, Jimmy, this could just be not admitted on this, and this. And Chuck says, yes, I know all of that. This is the interesting thing, this sort of lawyer v. lawyer sort of thing, where it's like, honestly, yeah, you want someone who knows how to pull off a crime, probably a lawyer who knows, basically how to get past all of these different things. But there's one thing, apparently, that Chuck has thought of that Jimmy couldn't get around. However, we don't know that. We don't know what he's thinking, unfortunately. But I'll be very, very curious about that. What is Chuck thinking? He has one use for that tape. Now, my first thought would be something like blackmail. But Chuck wouldn't do that. That's also the really interesting thing, is where, again, lawyer v. lawyer, Jimmy is going sabotage. He's doing all of this shady, shit, basically. Chuck is determined to do this 100% the right way, because that's what he does. He is a 100% legitimate lawyer. He does everything by the book. This, and this, and this. Yes, he did basically get Jimmy to confess on tape without him knowing. But that ain't illegal. If there is anyone who would basically, he knows exactly where the boundary is, and he uses everything in front of that boundary to do what he needs to do, And so that's the thing, is there's only one thing he's got for that tape to be useful for. But I don't know what it could be. Oh, I don't know what it could be, but I'm very, very curious. This season's going to be very interesting, I think, just for basically Jimmy versus Chuck, Like, season 1, normal, everything's fine until the end, where you get that big hit of You're Not a Real Lawyer. Season 2, butting heads a little bit, but then it ends with boom, war. And now it's fucking war. How does this season end? God only knows. God only knows how this season's going to end, but I think this season is war. This season is war between Chuck and Jimmy. So yeah, we also got the commercial. I love that guy coming and being pissed. Of course he would be pissed. And I love how he's ready to throw the book at Jimmy. But again, Jimmy's a lawyer. He's looking at this like, you're not going to throw the fucking book at me. You can't throw the book at me. I'm a fucking lawyer. I know what I'm doing, you know? But he does sort of see... He does sort of see this with, you know, the same sort of thing... I guess sort of the same sort of vitriol that Chuck has for him. You know, he's looking at this like, this is a good person who's been caught up in my shit, basically. There's something similar, at least for this officer it is. And while again, he also went with the whole big picture thing again. It's like, hey, nobody got hurt, nobody is this and this. And like Davis and Maine, that's not the point. Like he did again with another commercial. That's not the point. The point is that you lied. You know, it's what Chuck said. You always think the ends justify the means, you know? So that is a lot of Jimmy's mentality, but I can see he sort of, you know, while he's not, you know, going to apologize or take down the ad or anything like that, he is thinking about it like, fuck, I'm doing the same thing. I got caught, and now this guy fucking hates me, you know? And I like that moment where the guy says, you know, y'all think, I can't remember exactly what he said, so I'll paraphrase, but it's, you know, you all, guys like you think you're so smart, but something's gonna come back and hit you, you know? In the end, something's gonna come back and hit him. And what a perfect episode for that to be in, because we start this episode with the aftermath of shit catching up to him. Because if anything in this world ever caught up to James McGill, it's Walter White. Heisenberg caught up to him. Everything with that caught up to him, and he had to leave, and he's nobody's lawyer. Nobody's lawyer. And that, I mean, it ruins him, basically. So, what better episode to put that in than this, you know? So that was pretty cool. We also had Kim sitting there, unsure about, basically, I guess, like, what punctuation to put in here. You know, just period, space, 2 dashes. Do you do period, space, there's semicolon, space? What do you do? And I think that has genuinely gotten to her, this sort of paranoia over... Because she has now seen the smallest error can ruin everything. Everything. Now, granted, to Kim's credit, if a mistake was made and she just owned up to it, that's one thing. But I think she's also paranoid, about, it's like, well, one mistake, ruined Mesa Verde with HHM. Yes, but Chuck was also an asshole. He was an asshole who never admitted, who never even considered the possibility that he made a mistake, Like, they're telling him the real address, and he's like, no, you're wrong. You're muddying the waters, So, yeah. So, while that has Kim sort of paranoid about these mistakes, a mistake like that, even though Chuck didn't make a mistake, that's the thing. Chuck didn't make a mistake, but he handled that so horrendously that entirely fell apart. Just don't do that. Don't handle it like Chuck handled it, or didn't handle it. Last thing I wrote down is Ernie. Ernie heard the tape, and Chuck tried to cover it like, oh, no, don't, you didn't hear that, and it's like, oh, well, confidentiality with our clients and everything. And it was like, so you can't tell anybody because that would be bad for you. And Ernie's sitting there like, what the fuck did I just hear? And with everything with the Xerox place and how that sort of ended up, and in the hospital, and it's like, oh, you were there, you stayed around, you bastard. And Ernie saying, no, I called him because he said, like, he's out to get you, but you're my friend, Jimmy. And I get the feeling, I don't know if it'll be immediate. He may take some time to think it over, but I think Ernie is going to tell Jimmy that Chuck got him on tape. Which I'm thinking, it's like, okay, Chuck has this tape. Well, unless he's made a copy... Now, it's entirely possible he's made a copy of the tape. But, you know, Jimmy knows a guy who can go in, get that tape, and completely destroy it. You know? Like, if that gets back to Jimmy, he could call Mike and say, hey, there's something I need you to do. Not like it's going to be hard. There's no security. It's not like there's security at Chuck's house, you know? And literally any point, it doesn't even have to be when Chuck is, you know, like, oh, he's asleep, like with the Kettlemans in season 1. If Chuck ever goes to HHM, pop in, you know, take the tape, you know, maybe take it back or take it back to Jimmy and break it or burn it or whatever. Bada bing, bada boom, it's over, you know? And what proof is Chuck gonna have? He doesn't have a camera up there. So, if Jimmy finds out about that tape, he does have Mike. He could ask Mike to do that, you know? So yeah. But will Ernie tell Jimmy? I think at some point he will, but I don't think it'll be immediately. But I'm still curious, what's Chuck going to do with the tape? What's he going to do? I don't know, but I think we're in for a crazy, crazy good season. And that's the thing. Season 1 and Season 2 were crazy, crazy good. So I'm just excited to keep going. I friggin' love this. Honestly, this may be my favorite show that I'm watching right now on the channel. You know, I just absolutely love Better Call Saul. So yeah, very, very excited and curious to see where we are going next time. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around to any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Better Call Saul reactions, as well as another playlist for all of my Breaking Bad reactions if you want to go check those out. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.